Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today's top story is so ridiculous, so brazen, and so deeply Zimbabwean that it deserves to be filed under "you can't make this stuff up." You know how elections are supposed to be a sacred democratic ritual, right? Yeah, not in Zimbabwe. Here, they are just another hassle. And at the center of the latest masterpiece in national looting is none other than the one and only Sir Chivayo, the self-appointed prince of designer suits, loud cash giveaways, and dodgy government contracts. So here's the plot. And brace yourself, because even Netflix wouldn't greenlight something this unbelievable. The Zimbabwean government, in its usual secretive fashion, handpicked a South African company called Renform CC to supply election materials for the 2023 general elections. You know, those elections where everything that could go wrong went wrong. No public tender, no questions asked, and the total bill, a jaw-dropping 1.1 billion rands. That's around $61 million. And guess what? Of that entire mountain of money, a staggering 800 million rands found its way into the warm, soft, designer-clad hands of Sir Chigananda Chivayo. Now, for those blessed souls who don't know Chivayo, congratulations, you are new here. Chivayo is not your run-of-the-mill millionaire. He's a former convict, a tenderpreneur, supreme, and a man whose only known qualifications are his proximity to power and an apparent talent for charming corrupt officials. Remember that US $173 million power project that never powered a single light bulb? Yeah, that was him. But instead of jail time, he somehow climbed the greasy paw of Zimbabwean politics and landed right in the lap of the president himself. These days, he cruises around in not one, but two Rolls Royce, calls himself Sir, and hands out cash and cars like it's monopoly money. So what did Chivayo do to earn 800 million from a South African election printer? Did he invent a new ink? Design a revolutionary ballot box? No, he was simply an agent. An agent. That's right. According to Renform's own director, Jean-Pierre Dussart, Chivayo was just one of our agents over there, collecting fees for facilitating the deal. The deal was 1.1 billion. And the fees for facilitating the bill was not 10%, maybe 110. It was not that. It was 800 million, almost 80% of the cost. In plain language, he was the middleman with government connections. The man who could whisper in the right ears, shake the right hands, and maybe grease a few official palms to make sure Renform got the gig. And once the money was paid, it was payday for Wicknell and his band of merry looters. The receipts are wild. Chivayo didn't just receive one or two payments. According to South Africa's Financial Intelligence Center, the 800 million rands was chopped up and scattered like confetti. 36 million rands landed into his personal account and was promptly blown on luxury vehicles. Another 351 million found its way to a mysterious outfit called Asibambeki Platinum Group. No one can touch us. Run by a character named Emmanuel Musanyenda. Then there is Kumba Group, who got 28 million. Indo Logistics, they got 9 million. And even a boutique cosmetics company linked to a prophet's wife, because apparently miracles now come with manicures. But the real comedy began when Chivayo's fellow tender kings, Mike Chimombe and Moses Mpofu decided they weren't getting their fair cut of the loot. Cue the backstabbing, leaked WhatsApps, and voice notes of Chivayo casually bragging about bribing top officials, including name-dropping President Mnangagwa himself as my father. To be clear, Chivayo later claimed the audio wasn't him, perhaps his evil twin, but still issued an apology to the president, justice minister, and the ZEC boss for creating an adverse impression. So how was the adverse impression created by Wicknell Chivayo if that wasn't his voice? That's like robbing a bank and apologizing for making the vote look messy. Let's talk about ZEC, the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, for a moment, because even they are playing the denial game. They claim they only paid US $21 million for the elections, not $61 million, and that they never dealt with Chivayo. Right? Sure. Except leaked documents and emails clearly show Chivayo's companies neck deep in the procurement process, right down to biometric voter kits, portable toilets, and those magical servers that cost 23 million each. Never mind that their real market value is under 100,000 rands. At this rate, we wouldn't be surprised if the ballots were printed on Egyptian cotton. As usual, Zimbabwe's Anti-Corruption Commission has promised to investigate. This is the same commission that couldn't investigate a breadcrumb trail if it were taped to their foreheads. Meanwhile, the only people to face arrest were Chimombe and Mpofu. And it was not for this scandal, mind you, but for an entirely different case involving a goat project gone wrong. Yes, you heard that right, goats. We went from missing ballots to missing goats in the blink of an eye, only in Zimbabwe. But their real crime was leaking the voice notes of Wicknell Chivayo, name-dropping the president. And let's not leave out our friends across the Limpopo. South African authorities, unlike their counterparts in Harare, they actually took this seriously. The Financial Intelligence Center compiled a full forensic report, and the police and the tax authorities are investigating possible money laundering. Chivayo's spending spree triggered so many compliance alerts. The banks must have thought he was a narco lord, and even Namibia is caught in the crossfire. When news broke that Renform had also won a US $60 million contract to print Namibia's ballots, the public went ballistic, and Chivayo tripped over himself to deny any involvement. Namibia? Never heard of it. But here's the real kicker. This isn't just about one flamboyant fraudster living large while the rest of us choke on potholes and blackouts. This is about a system, a rotten, festering, loot-at-will machine, where elections are just stolen at the ballot box. They are stolen at the procurement desk, where millions meant for democracy end up buying Rolls-Royce, luxury perfumes, and round-trip tickets to nowhere, where whistleblowers get arrested and the kingpins host lavish birthday parties in public sponsored by the same taxpayers they have robbed blind. So, what's the lesson here? That in Zimbabwe, elections are not about the people's voice. They are about who whisper the loudest in the corridors of power. That the real vote isn't cast in polling booths, but in boardrooms where contracts are cooked and commissions pre-approved. And while the international community pens report about disputed outcomes, the real crime is happening backstage, behind the printers, with Chivayo grinning all the way to the bank. This is Zimwaves TV. If this commentary made you laugh, cry, or angrily spit out your tea, then do the right thing. Like, subscribe, and share this video before Chivayo buys YouTube too. Until next time, remember, in Zimbabwe, even democracy has a price tag, and apparently it's written in rands.